what you don't understand is that when the master is speaking with emotion, it has a greater opportunity for the message to enter into you than when you are writing. If you write, you fail to make the eye-to-eye contact with him, and that's a great thing to miss. So please don't write. There's nothing for you to write here. It has to be your personal thing. Maybe you are used to this, wanting to take down all that being told, but when you go back, definitely you cannot write all that he says. That's one thing. The second thing is, so when you don't write everything, there will be a lot of puzzles to be filled in. And who's going to do that for you? So don't write, just listen to him. Pack up your notebooks and pens and then put them in your box, because then it becomes knowledge for you. And you lose out on the experience. And he has flown all the way to give his life's 64 years work experience to you. That's been what he has been doing. And should you be missing that?
No.
Definitely not, isn't it?
Right.
So please don't write. Right? I request you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we are in the second part of the retreat of the Yajna, and we have to become sensitive to the operation of Maya and understand the modality in which Maya operates. We've got to check our understanding with what the scripture is saying about Maya so that we understand that Maya correctly. And we know that we are already under that Maya. We've got to sense that. So this is the content of part 2, recognizing Maya and duality and overcoming the same. Now, because our knowledge is gained through the senses, all human knowledge is gained through the senses, and the senses are operating in time and space. And the senses see objects in space. The senses see objects in space, which can be rocks, which can be animals, which can be human forms. And then you see different objects, different human forms. And then into our human language, in every language, is built into the Maya of duality in every language. The language uses first person, second person, third person. So which means you take yourself to be this body, and you take the other person to be this body, and you take the third person to be this body. So it's built into the language. So the moment you start using the language, you are already fully into the trap of duality. So you'll discover that. You'll discover that language, so long as you use the language in a thoughtless way, in a very mechanical way, as a tool for communication and so on, then that language itself sustains the duality which the senses are creating in us. The senses create duality. The senses give the impression that I am this body and you are that body. And then the language further pampers the duality, pampers that Maya, and then builds it and describes it as though it's a permanent reality. So we have got to become aware of all these things as we keep moving. So typical two human beings having an argument or a conversation, so the duality is there. And then we are trying to get at an underlying unity where there are two bodies to be seen, yes, and then there are two consciousnesses at work, the consciousness of the mother and the consciousness of the daughter. But underneath the consciousness of the daughter and underneath the consciousness of the mother is the same bedrock of the Atma or the Oversoul. The bodies are different. Yes, nobody can deny it. The consciousnesses are different because the memories are different, the life experiences are different, the likes and dislikes are different. So the two consciousnesses are also different. But underneath the consciousness is another substratum, another bedrock of awareness, which is the same in every human being. It is also the same in every stone, in every lizard, in every insect, in every galaxy, in every star. There is the presence of God in every object, big or small, whether it is an ant or whether it's a galaxy or whether it's a piece of stone or in the human being. And that is unmanifest. That presence or the common denominator throughout creation, throughout manifested objects, is hidden, is concealed, is unmanifest. And we've got to somehow get at that. That's why we're here. And this can't happen if you're not yourself interested. You've got to be yourself interested. There has to be a burning desire to know this. And one of the realizations we are going to have is that there is an indirect way of fathoming the life center or God, but there's no way for us to actually know God, because God is the unknowable, and yet He exists. You can't know God through your consciousness. You can't know God through the senses. You may have mystical experiences, but that is not knowing God, because He is in the realm of the unmanifest, and His existence in the realm of the unmanifest has to be inferred and deduced and arrived at by us by very close examination of all that is happening in our life. And if we are not prepared to examine it very closely with undistracted attention and with passion, then we may not be able to crack the mystery of God. So you need energy to do this. It's the energy which scientists have, which all explorers and investigators have. And this must become a burning thing for you. Like how pleasure is a burning thing. You're addicted to pleasure. You want it all the time. So like this, you must want it at some stage in your life, because life has beaten you so hard that this is your only refuge, so you want it. So such a person is called a seeker. A seeker. And in the Hindu world, he's called mumukshu, one who's searching for moksha, for salvation. He's searching for that. So now normally what happens in relationship is, we are two people,